Hi, everybody. My name is Natalie Wasserberg, and this is part two in a series on adapting to the new normal. I just would like to get a sense of who is on the line today. Can I just ask you a question to please type in the chat, where are you from? And maybe in one word, you can tell me, how would you describe your current state of mind? Okay. All right. So in about 2 minutes, we're going to get started. And just so you know, this is also streaming on Instagram. So for those of you who are familiar or more open to Instagram, please go ahead and use Instagram instead. Same name is Natalie Wasserberg. And we're going to start. For those who tuned in last week, every Monday I do live streaming 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for those of you who tuned in last Monday, you would remember we discussed number one step in this situation, in any challenging scenario, not just a current scenario, any other challenging situation in life. Number one step is always to accept what's going on in life. And I stressed on the difference of it, to submit or to surrender. It's quite the opposite. When you accept, it's actually you are just not resisting. That's what I mean by accepting. When you're not resisting, you are not wasting your energy on changing something that you can no longer change, right? So when you accept, you acknowledge that this is what's going on, and I am strong enough to deal with the situation as it is. That's where you hold your power. This is the strength. This is the point of strength and point of power for you personally. When you say, I accept what's happening, because there's nothing you can do. You can go ahead and change what's happening in the world right now. So acceptance is the point of power. It's not really submitting. Submitting would be, or giving up is something that you just don't know what to do anymore, right? And it's really the opposite energy. We are working with energies here. We want to elevate ourselves in this current situation. So by accepting, you are not resisting. When we resist, we waste a lot of energy. We don't want to do that. We want to get on that wave and ride the wave. We accept, we acknowledge what's going on, and we are strong enough, powerful enough to handle what's coming our way. So that was step one. We discussed that last Monday. Today, I'm going to discuss step two. So what do you do next, right? You accepted it and you are not resisting anymore. You're like, okay, virus is happening. Life as we knew it is no longer here. I have to do something about it. So very easy to these days is panic. A lot of people are panicking these days. They don't know what's going to happen, what's going to happen to their jobs, what's going to happen to their children. Are they going to go back to school? Do I have to homeschool? There's a lot of unknown. And again, it's something that's going to happen in life over and over again. It's just this scenario right now is extremely elevated because that's so unknown. It's never happened before. But the way you deal with this situation right now, with this challenge, is really the way you deal with any challenge in your life. It just happens to be an extreme event right now. So what do? How do we not get out of this panicky state? When we're in a panicky state, again, it's draining your energy. I always like to go back to that explanation energy. We want to be able to be productive with our energy. When we panic, we waste our energy. And moreover, when we panic, our minds are in this constant fight, flight, freeze response. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But when we panic, we are not seeing clearly. We are extremely emotional. Emotions are always coming supported by some kind of past traumatic events. So when our ancestors had to survive, there's a lot of survival challenges, right? There are a lot of survival challenges. So they would have to fight or flight. That was an instant response. In modern days, we don't really face situations like that. We are pretty safe and stable. So we need to learn to get out of that fight, flight, freeze response, of that emotional response, which is probably coming from generation to generation, right? So, number two step is to stay calm, cool, and collected. We want to stay cool. We want to be calm. We want to be collected, because when you're in that place, when you are simply in this accepting, observant place, you're calm, you're collected. And then you're able to see what you should do. Your mind is then not wasting energy, time on rethinking what's going to happen, worrying about the future, thinking about the past, about everything that's going on. Your mind is focused on the now, on the situation right now, and then it can actually make the right decision, make steps that are beneficial. So how do we stay calm, cool, and collected? Number one thing is we need to practice being present. And I love to talk about being present in different ways, not just to stay calm, cool, and collected. By being present, you benefit yourself in any situation in life, especially for mothers. When you're with children, learn from your children. You'll see that children are always in the present moment, and you see that for the most part children are never really depressed or worried about the future. They're in the now. They're focused on something now. They see something, they play with something, and even if they get a little upset or start crying, it's in the moment. It's now and it's gone. They've processed this and they moved on. Of course, when later in life we adapt to conditioning and we start thinking about the future. Usually, when we think about the future, for the most of us, we worry about the future, especially nowadays, right? A lot of people are just not sure what's going to happen. So, that anxiety about the future is really has no foundation, right? And it's the opposite of being present. When we are present in this moment right now, we are actually, for the most part, we're safe. And I love to use an example. Imagine if the tiger jumps out at you, or even a big dog outside in the park. Yes, this is the time when you can activate your flight, freeze, or fight, right? So fight, you just run away. Freeze, you freeze. You just don't know what to do. And a flight, you run away, and fight, you just fight the dog. And that's the right scenario. That's the right time to activate that survival mechanism in your mind, because you need to address that situation right here and right now. However, when you're worried whether you're going to lose your job, whether you going to run out of money and not going to have this, or maybe there's some kind of health condition, whatever it is, it's all in your head. It's all imaginary yet. I mean, it didn't happen, right? But our mind perceives it, that's something that's already happening, and activates that flight, fight, or freeze response. And what happens is that we are in a constant state, like constantly in that anxious state. We're never present. We are always anxious. And what happens, our hormones go up, like those cortisol hormone goes up. And it affects our body too. And we are constantly anxious. It breeds on more anxiety, stress, panic attacks. So this is where, like, this is why because we're in the future. The past, when we're stuck in the past, it usually translates as being depressed because we think about what happened. We can't let go of what happened. But I think in this point, we just gonna focus on being anxious and being stressed out, and it's usually about the future. So very important to be present these days. How do we practice being present? So I love to use a bottom up approach, which is starting with your body. And the most efficient way is focusing on your breath. What I would do if I were you, personally, what I did for myself many years ago when I was working in the corporate world and I was constantly under stress, living in New York City, running around. Um, I was in that fight, flight, freeze state of mind for many years. And I had to learn a lot of breathing techniques. Breathing is your quickest way to get to that present moment. When you focus on your breath, you activate parasympathetic hormone in your body, and that translates into your body relaxing, being calm, cool, and collected. And then you're able to finally relax and be present, be in this moment. You're no longer thinking about the future. A very good example would be children. So I have a child, and whenever I tend to run into the future, start thinking about something, the quickest way for me to just spend time with my little one and pay attention what she's doing. She's always in the present. She's always looking at what's around her, right? So I would say for those of us who are mothers, spend time with your children, but be present. Put away any technology, your phones, turn off the TVs. I would say turn on music. Turn on music. Music always brings us into not just present, but it's for many of us, it also brings us into that association of happiness. So put on music, play with your children, play with your pets. Same for pets, just like dogs. They don't know about the future. They never think about the past. If you'll notice, your cat or your dog might get upset with you, and then the next minute, they moved on. They don't even remember that they were upset with you. Then they don't hold on to all this grudges or, oh, I'm upset with you because of this, this, and that. They got it out of the system. So I would say surround yourself, or whenever you start feeling anxious, you find yourself not being here, not being now. If you don't want to just focus on your breath, be by yourself, go play with your pets, play with your children, go out in nature. Being in nature, I'm going to do actually another different lecture on that, but being in nature has a lot of positive effects. For the most part, it brings you in the present if you are being mindful and you pay attention to what's going on around you. So I would say go out and just look around. Look around and see what do you see. It's as simple as like this. I walk into the park. Oh, what a beautiful tree. Oh, there's even if it's rain. Oh, it's raining. Just notice what's happening. If you can't, if you're sitting and working from home these days, as a lot of you are, take a break, take a 5-minute break, practice a couple of breaths, or just look around the room. If you're in the office or just at home working, take a look like this, like 180, and say, oh, there is this art on the wall, there's this and that. Bring yourself back. You want to stay present. This is your best way to get out of the anxious fight, flight, or freeze response. All right. And another thing that I wanted to discuss about this is practice and be mindfulness. Mindfulness is probably going to be a different topic because it's going to take more time, and we're already past 15 minutes. But we'll talk about mindfulness next Monday, and it's beneficial not just in this scenario, it's beneficial in creating the life you truly desire. And I'll discuss it. I'll explain why being mindful, or as I like to say, being an observer, is a powerful state that's not just going to get you out of this fighting, flying, just surviving, getting by, but it's going to get you to the point where you're just like, I'm calm, cool, and collected, but I'm also in charge of my life. I'm also powerful to create what I want to create. So we'll talk about this next Monday. Okay, so those of you who know me already, I love to focus on 3 areas, which is mind, body, soul. This is like integrative approach. I love to address whatever situation we're working on from 3 points, right? It's just like it's all integrative, and it really covers everything we need to cover. So now we'll move on to body. First part of our lecture was mind. We talked about it, and now we're going to focus on our body. And I love this technique, this breathing technique I learned many years ago. It's actually called a relaxing breath, and it's ideal to bring yourself into that calm, cool, and collected state. I use it all the time, and honestly, it works like magic every single time. I use it several times a day, sometimes just once a day. Sometimes I even forget about it, and because I'm completely fine, I don't need it anymore because I've trained my body to not get into this survival instinct all the time. Over time, you'll be able to, when you start practicing breathing, being mindful, being present, over time, you'll override that survival instinct that constantly kicks in and has been kicking in all your life, because that's how we are conditioned these days, right? Okay, so the technique is a relaxing breath. What I would do, I would put my left hand on my chest, on my heart, and my right one on my belly. And it's called 4-7-8 as well. So you inhale for 4 counts. You hold your breath for 7. You inhale through your nose, hold for 7, and you exhale through your mouth for 8. So I'm going to demonstrate it. 4, 7. So please do it on your end. I can't see any one of you. So go ahead and practice 4-7-8 4 times. Don't do it more than 4 times, simply because it's a very powerful breath. And since if you are not experienced in this field, I wouldn't do it. For me, I can take a break. So I don't do more than 4, but sometimes I just like go back to normal breath. And then after a few minutes, I do it again. If I still feel anxiety in my body, I do it again for 4. There's some magic about this 4 number. I wasn't the one who created this breath. It was Dr. Whale. You can look it up. It's been practiced by many, many people in the wellness world, myself included. So 4-7-8. Inhale for 4. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8 through your mouth. All right, so I trust that all of you finished with 4 rounds of 4 breaths. And what I'm going to do next, so that was addressing our body. What I'm going to do next, I'm going to have a very short meditation today because I'm out of time. I don't want to take up more of your time. So I'm going to actually log off my Instagram because I need to use my phone for the music. So thank you for those who joined me on Instagram. Thank you so much. And I'm going to continue on YouTube. All right. And now, okay. So, for those of you who are on my YouTube channel, please go ahead and get yourself in a comfortable position. Okay. So, just I like to use some nice meditative music. Like I said, music always works too. All right. So, please close your eyes. And we're gonna relax. This is all about relaxation, about being present so that we can stay calm, cool, and collected. And it's ideal right after you did 4, 7, 8 breath. Bring your awareness to your breath again, but just your normal breath. And just take a few long, deep breaths in and out. Notice any tension in your body. Usually we'll hold our attention in the face, around our eyes, jaw. So relax your eyes, relax your jaw, relax your face. Relax your shoulders and your neck. Let your shoulders drop if you're sitting. And just visualize that it's like a wave of beautiful turquoise water going from the top of your head and down your body. And as it's going down, it relaxes every single part of your body, every cell, every muscle, every organ, every tissue in your body. So, perfect temperature, pure turquoise healing water streaming down your body. And as it's going down your chest and your heart, down your belly, your hips, your legs, and down to your feet. And coming out of your feet. And now you just see yourself in the water. You are floating in this beautiful turquoise water. And it's just a perfect wave. Gently moving. You are melted. You are part. You are one with this water. And you start feeling like your body is moving slightly, or it's like some vibration going through your body right now. You feel the energy, especially the part that vibrates the most is probably where you need to release some tension, something blocked in that area. So let the vibration work its magic. Let it go and release. And just rest in this beautiful water. Just release and rest for as long as needed, or as long as you want. Again, like I said in my first session, I like to leave it open ended so that those of you who are enjoying this relaxation, enjoying the meditation, can just stay in that state. It's wonderful, it's creative, it's it's present. That's what we want. And just lie there as long as you want to. And I'm going to say thank you for being here today. And I hope that was helpful. I'll be here next Monday, 5:30, and we'll discuss step 3. So this is powerful techniques on how to adapt to the challenges, to the new normal, any challenging, stressful event in our lives, and how to manage it, how to be able to get through it and still find it actually as a beautiful learning moment. So I'll see you next Monday. Also, just to remind you, every Wednesday I live stream as well on YouTube at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's called the Reset Midweek Reset Meditation. Extremely helpful for those of us who work. I found myself being always burned out on Wednesdays and midweek. Perfect time to recharge your batteries so that you're not completely burned out by Friday and you get to enjoy your weekend. So join me on Wednesday for the midweek reset meditation. It's just going to be a restful meditation. It's perfect before bedtime. And I hope to see you there as well. So thank you, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day.